Nancy, I'd love to dive in to what I think you've termed the magnetic middle, where a lot of us we see our brand or we see our product or service as being on the bleeding edge, but most people don't actually want to be on the bleeding edge. How do we as marketers understand the magnetic middle? How do we leverage the magnetic middle?
Yeah, no, it's a great question because you're absolutely right. Like we like to think of ourselves as, as out there on the bleeding edge, advanced, cutting edge. And but the truth of the matter is behavioral scientists have done some research, and what they found is very often we're not as comfortable being on that knife edge, nor are we comfortable feeling like we're lagging behind. Where we feel the most comfortable is in the middle, right? We have a tendency to gravitate towards the middle. It feels safe, right? There are a lot of people there. We think that, okay, it's probably not a bad place to be. And so I actually used it for one of my clients. I had a client, buckle up, guys, is going to be really exciting. Had a client that was selling insurance to dentists. Yes, exciting, right?
Fascinating.
But the way it works is, if you're selling life insurance, it's a hard thing to do, right? It's a hard thing to get people to buy it to begin with. Everyone wants to kick the can down the road, right? They think they have plenty of time, and no one wants to think they're going to die, right? So it's like, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. And if you've been successful at getting someone to buy life insurance, they have now crossed off the list. They have no desire to revisit it. They've checked it off their list. They're done. But the truth of the matter is, you should revisit it every couple of years because maybe your family has changed. Maybe your business has changed. Maybe your needs have changed. Maybe you need more. Maybe you need less. But you really should look at it because you bought it for a reason, and you would hate to find out that you didn't, have the right amount because things changed. But try telling that to someone who's already crossed it off the list, right? They're deaf ears. It's like, oh, insurance, nope, already did that, don't need to engage. And so we took on this assignment for this client. We said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use the pull of the magnetic middle. We're sending out this letter. It was a sell off the page letter, and we're going to include a chart in the letter, kind of a graph. And at one end was $0 of insurance that, it's the least anyone could have, right? And at the other end was 3 million. That was the most this particular company sold. And again, they were targeting dentists. And then they showed a little mark that said, "You are here." And we asked them to use the great majority of their customers, but to cut out anyone who was under that 1.5 million mark. So most of their customers had less than 1.5 in insurance, which would be halfway, right? So you get this thing, you open up the letter, you glance at it, and one of the first things you see is this little thing that says, "You are here," and you are left of center, right? And we didn't expect that would make people immediately, say, "Oh, I need to have $3 million." But what we did think would happen is it would nudge people closer to the center. And that's exactly what happened.